Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Serving home cooking, Jack's Barcelona Drive-In, 8249 First Street, Westfield. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner by beautiful Lake Erie in a summer cottage atmosphere with local wines and beers available. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. It's June, everybody. We made it. How's that possible? I don't know how your Memorial Day weekend was, but it was awesome at the Hamels family estate up there on the hill in Ripley. We just had family all weekend and went out to Pennsylvania for a big cookout and had a family reunion. It was just a great time. Little warm on Saturday, but no complaints. It's just been spectacular. I don't know. I think we're above normal for temperatures right now, but it's okay. It's like summertime, and I'm really enjoying it. Got a great show in store for you today, and we'll get to my guests in a little bit. And as always, got a lot of things to share with you. I want to remind you in the opening comments that if you do want to call in, okay, we really do encourage you to call in, ask a question, because this is what the show is all about. My brother told me last week I said this too fast, so I'll go slower. 753-5225. Okay, you can email us, you can Twitter us. If you want to call in, you have a question, and you're a little shy, just leave your question, and the gang will send me your question on my iPad here, and then I'll ask the question, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be a question for my guest. It could be an announcement. It could be something that's on your mind, whatever. That's what the show's all about. This is for you guys. We're, as far as I know, one of the only, I'm not sure, I'm not positive about this, but I think we're the only live television show in Chautauqua County to this day. There might be some others, but I know most of them are pre-taped. So anyways, we're here for you. As you know, the show is rebroadcast throughout the week, and then we are broadcast on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people over in Jamestown, my buddies over there who put our soundtrack on every single week, and we appreciate that. Dennis True and Jason and Steve and all the guys over there, we thank you. And so anyways, you can hear us again on Tuesdays. And good afternoon to you that are listening later in the week. But right now we're live. We're here in Mayville, and I have a whole slew of things to share with you. We have someone that's going to call in about 9:15 to share some information. Let me get a quick drink to wet my whistle. And here we go. Put my glasses on. It says here, we're going to go to Sherman. From the Rural Center in Sherman, the Gentlemen's Swap Meet. All right. This is June 11th. That would be next week, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the old Sherman Ford Garage in Sherman, over there on West Main Street. This is sort of like a flea market, a swap, whatever you want to call it. You rent a little area, 12 by 12 for $15, and you can drag anything out of your garage that you want. And wives, if you're listening, this is the opportunity when your husband's asleep or whatever, pull all that stuff, take it to Sherman, put it on your 12 by 12 and sell it. As long as you promise not to tell my wife. All proceeds go to the youth summer program for the Rural Center. They're doing some great work over here. Michelle Swabick will be on later on this summer to talk more about their programs. If you want to register, go to Woods Power Sports anytime there, or let's see, what does it say here? 7 a.m. of that day. So you still have time to get a little piece of turf there to sell your stuff. It's also the same day as the Sherman yard sales. So evidently everybody in Sherman's going to be selling everything they have in their garages and basements. Randy, you should get out there that day. You know, you need a new bike? What do you need? Something good?
Movie projector.
Movie projector? What's 8 millimeter? Yeah. All right, so if you have an 8 millimeter, please call in. Randy will come pay for it. Okay, so anyways, and there'll be food available for purchase. Let's go to Westfield. The Chautauqua County Historical Society is inviting its members and community to help support the preservation of local history by attending its annual fundraiser and gala. You're looking at the McClurg Mansion right there, and that's next Saturday also in Westfield. Standing Ground will take place from 6 to 8 p.m. at the historic McClurg Mansion in Moore Park, located at the corners of 394 and Route 20 in the Village. The fundraiser will feature hors d'oeuvres and wine tasting, along with entertainment, which will feature Irish-American songs performed by, yours truly, and my partner, Will Russell. The two of us will be playing for a couple hours there, and we'll be happy to chat with you if you're there. And attendees will also have the opportunity to tour the McClurg Museum, learn about the new exhibits that have been added, including the new election exhibit, which features numerous campaign items from past elections, including buttons, ribbons, and pamphlets, some dating all the way back to 1836. The fundraiser and gala event will take place, as I said, Saturday the 11th. It's $50 a person. All proceeds go to the McClurg Mansion. The McClurg Museum, which is also a mansion, and the Chautauqua County Historical Society. For tickets, call 326-2977, 326-2977, or contact any member of the board of directors or trustees. So anyways, it's a great, fun thing, and for those of you that may or have gone there, you will find that it's a great opportunity to meet people, and if you're interested in history, McClurg is just full of it, and the music will be outstanding. Also, same place, same weekend, the annual tradition of the 9th Cavalry Encampment is once again ready to take place in Westfield's Moore Park. Standing Ground, a Civil War living history event, will run from Friday, June 10th through Sunday, June 12th. Now, if you're listening and you got kids especially, this is a great time to learn about history, talk to people that are in period garb. They're cooking there, they're camping out. It's just a really fun activity and just lots of history. The event features members of the 9th Cavalry setting up camp in the park and offer living history throughout the weekend. Events will include a flag-raising ceremony, 9 a.m., right about the time we're going on the air, drills and demonstrations from 10 and 3 p.m. Saturday, and 1:30 p.m. Sunday. There'll be craft demonstrations for children throughout Saturday and Sunday, candlelight tours around the camp, that would be pretty, and a Civil War church service at St. Peter's Episcopal Church. You're killing me these days in the morning. They're always giving me things with lots of P's, and I can't say P's early in the morning. Let me try that again. A Civil War service at St. Peter's Episcopal Church, 10 a.m. Sunday. The very popular letters of the war It's a letter reading program. Will return once again this year with members of the 9th Cavalry and other invited guests reading aloud letters that were written by area soldiers while serving during the Civil War. Dear Mom, send more socks. This year, the program will focus on letters that were written by the Cushing family. As we know, Alonzo Cushing received the Congressional Medal of Honor, and we had John Wolfe here that was talking a lot about that whole project, and the award was here in Westfield, Mayville area some time ago. So the Cushing family are famous. Anyways, the correspondences will be from the Civil War heroes Alonzo and William Cushing, both of Fredonia. The reading, which is free and open to the public, will take place Saturday, June 11th at 2 p.m. inside St. Peter's Episcopal Church next to the park. In addition, the 9th Cavalry, which is hosting the event, will have reenactment groups to be expected on hand, which will include the 64th Virginia Cavalry, the 4th South Carolina Infantry, the 20th Maine Fife and Drum Corps, and Cushing's Battery A of the 4th Artillery. I have no idea what all that means, but there's going to be a lot of people there dressed up in cool dress. The encampment weekend will continue Sunday with the group departing Sunday afternoon. The encampment, along with all other events, is free and open to the public. Whew! All right, let's keep going here. Saturday, June 18th, we got the Grape Discovery Center just up the road on Route 20. It's a cruise-in, chicken barbecue and fundraiser, noon to 5. Cruise-in by the Lake Shore Street Rod Association. Chicken barbecue is by Kiss Barbecue of Westfield. Peggy Sue's Rock and Pop. I got rock and roll on my mind. Peggy Sue's Rock and Pop Popcorn. See that, all those P's? They kill me there. Raffles, silent auction, and fun. All proceeds will be used towards the operation and costs of the Grape Discovery Center. For more information, give Christina McCain a call at 326-2003. The rain date is June 19th, the following day. And I will slide by, and I offered to play for about an hour that day. All right. And now, as expected, we have a call from a representative. We have a phone call already. All right, let's just hold on that call till I get done with my report here. The Grape Discovery Center will be fundraiser will be held on. We already did that one. Okay, Infinity Visual and Performing Arts is inviting local bands and musicians to participate in their 13th annual local music showcase. The Local Music Showcase is an event that raises funds to support music and arts instruction at the Infinity Center. And we're going to leave it right there because it's going to be on September 10th, 2016, and it's going to involve a lot of bands, but we'll talk more about that as we go along. Now, finally, if you are in the area and you want to hang out someplace cool, go to the Crossroads Markets. And they are having their annual Spring Craft Show on June 11th. Boy, a lot of stuff going on next week. All artists and crafters are welcome to set up and sell. If you're interested, call Jerry Vacanti at 679-8894 for information. Register. Cost is $50 for a 15 by 15 outdoor space. So that's at Crossroads. You can go to the McClurg. You can go to Sherman. You can do all. You got the Grape Discovery Center. Lots of stuff going on in Chautauqua County. And as always, as I tell people, we have a great county. Lots of things going on, and we're just excited to be here. I got a caller, so let's take your phone call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. Am I on?
Hello? Yes, you're on. I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, my phone's smidgen, but okay. Good morning. My name's John Smith from Jamestown, and I just wanted to remind your Jamestown Cable and WRFA watchers and listeners about the Tuesday library vote.
Ah, okay. So what's going on with that?
Well, at Tuesday between noon and 9, Tuesday the 7th, between noon and 9, at the Prendergast Library in Jamestown, there will be a so-called community funding vote for the $850,000.
That's right. I've been reading about that. Okay.
Okay. Now what this is this will be a Jamestown School District property tax and the taxpayers will pay $1.15 per thousand, and it would start in September of 2017. So if your house is worth so many $1,000, it's that times $1.15, and that would be your property tax. And the people on STAR program are not exempt. You will have to pay it too.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to advise how people vote, but that is the nuts and bolts of it. You will be voting on a proposition to raise the $850,000. It will cost you $1.15 per thousand, and it will start in September of 2017, and STAR does not exempt you from it. So it would cost you, if you were to vote yes, it would cost you about as much as a utility bill or a car payment every September, and this is to be used to fund the library instead of the city government or foundations providing the money.
Okay.
So that's what people are voting on, and your WRFA listeners will hear this on Tuesday as it's going on, and I just wanted people to know that.
John, thanks for calling in. And
thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, and that's what we're all about here. So you take care.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. I know in Ripley they just voted for something similar where the library is now part of the, it's hard to explain, but it's like it's a district now of its own, and it's connected to the school, and they're raising a certain amount of money to support their library as well. So I think that's sort of a trend line that's going on right now. Hey, we took a phone call. We've had some announcements. So let's take a little breather here, and let's go to a public service announcement. I am expecting another caller, and when that call comes in, we'll take it. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
And there you have it. Adopt. All right. When the call comes through, we'll jump on that because it's one of those planned phone calls, and we'll get to it in a little bit if they do call. Well, my special guest today is the acting district attorney, Mr. Patrick Swanson, and welcome to the show. And I think it wasn't very long after you've been appointed that you sent me an email and said you'd love to get on the show and talk about your position, and you have a rich history to follow through here because I know District Attorney Subjack was here, and Dave Foley's been here, so you're the third district attorney that's been in this studio. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and may I call you Pat?
Sure.
All right.
Well, you know Doc, my friends call me Pete.
I know, and I'm still confused about that. We've always called you Pete, but now I saw Pat, and I go, I don't know what to call you.
That's a long story. That started with my brother and not being able to pronounce my full name properly, and it morphed into Pete, and everyone from Sherman knows me as Pete. Okay, so Pete Swanson, Patrick Swanson. Now we got to take a quick break. Sure.
Because we do have the caller that I was expecting, so let's get to them because they answer to a really high source. Okay. Good morning, sister.
Yes, good morning. My name is Sister Carmen, and I'm calling for Sister Corona, who is the administrator here at St. Clement's. She's lost her voice.
Uh-oh.
So she's asked me to please be her voice right now.
Okay, well, good morning. I know that Sister Corona was going to be on the air. That's what I was expecting all this time. So I understand you got some big activities going on this weekend.
Yes, we're going to celebrate our 60th Spring Festival.
Wow.
Tomorrow, Sunday, from noon until 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have, because it's a milestone, our 60th, we're going to have $6,060 in cash prizes.
Oh, my gosh.
We're going to have Chiavetta's Chicken Barbecue. Mm-hmm. We're going to have games, food, fun booths, gift baskets. There's kids' activities, a slide. We're going to have classic cars, musical entertainment.
Oh, my gosh.
We're also going to have guided tours of our retirement home. Mm-hmm. We have some fantastic prizes. One of them is actually a money cake It's a beautiful cake made all out of money.
What?
We also have a money bouquet.
A money cake. Wow.
So there's a little bit for everybody.
I guess so. So what do you do there?
Well, I'm one of the sisters assigned in the West Coast, and I'm here right now. I was here for meetings and for the festival in support.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, I have played as a musician at St. Clemens a couple of times, and I have to say it is an outstanding facility there on the lake. It's just gorgeous. So how are you ever going to go back to the West Coast after visiting there?
Well, I don't. I really don't know. I love it here. You know, we have an assisted living home here. We have residents, and we're going to have tours. So maybe you would like to invite your listeners to come and to also avail of the guided tour of our retirement home.
I think you just did.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Now, the tours will be from 2 until 4.
All right. Terrific. And that's tomorrow, right?
Yes. This is tomorrow from noon until 6 o'clock.
All right. Terrific. Well, thanks so much for calling, and tell Sister Corona we hope she gets her voice back real soon. Okay?
Okay. And just to remind you, all the proceeds are in support of our missionary work throughout the world in 12 countries, throughout 4 continents, and here also in support of our home.
Okay, very good. All right, best of luck, and hopefully the weather holds for you, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. God bless.
You too, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. There you go. We are all-purpose show here. Okay, well, let's get back to Pat Swanson, all the P's today. So, Patrick, I know a little bit about you, and as I always try to be careful when I know people, I try to interview you as if I don't know you. So tell the folks a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and all that good stuff.
Well, Doc, you know, I grew up in Sherman. My family, my mom and dad still live there in the village. My father's been with the Sherman School for, gosh, I think he's in his 39th year this year. And he retired a couple years ago from teaching. He's still the athletic director. My mom just retired recently as well from teaching. She was at BOCES in Ripley. But I graduated from Sherman 20 years ago this year. It's our 20-year high school reunion.
You don't look old enough to have been that long ago.
Yeah, I guess I suspect that'll change with the stress of the new job. But no, I graduated 20 years ago. I'm going to speak at commencement this year.
Oh, wow.
I was very honored to be asked to do that. I attended Wake Forest University, which is in the state of North Carolina.
You and your brother both attended there.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I questioned that decision at times.
I can't imagine my brother and I going to the same college.
No, we
wouldn't have been in class very often.
We had a good time. I wouldn't trade the experience that I had with him for anything. We both were runners at that time.
Yeah, I remember.
We ran cross country and track, and I had a surgical procedure done my sophomore year, which ended that part of my life. But you know, with that, I had things open up, other avenues. I changed my major at that point to physics. I graduated with a degree in physics and had big plans to move to California and get involved in the golf club industry, which was booming around 2000, 2001.
Wait. Physics and golf. Where's the connection here?
Well, R&D for equipment.
Oh, all right. I got you.
And in Southern California is where all those companies are.
Okay.
But when I moved home, I received a phone call from my now wife. We went on a couple dates, and I realized very quickly I needed to find a way to stay home. My father connected me with some people at Jamestown. I got a job teaching high school science there for a year as my wife finished at Fredonia. That's Natalie Jafrida, not Natalie Swanson. She's Robert Jafrida's daughter, who was
right. I knew Bob very well.
Long-time teacher, superintendent of the area.
We were buddies.
And then we got married and moved to Memphis, and my wife attended optometry college. I was a high school physics and math teacher for 3 more years, and then I attended law school with the idea of being a patent law attorney.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're a physics teacher, and then you just like woke up one day and said, I think I'm going to go to law school.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, you know, it was always something that was interesting. Law school always intrigued me. I knew, though, that you know, I had a specialized set of skills with the physics degree. You have to have a science or engineering background of some sort to even take the patent exam. I knew there was a lot of money to be made in that field, and obviously at 26, 25 years old, that was the intriguing part.
Patent exam.
Yeah, there's a patent bar. Separate bar exam, separate from the bar exam.
You're going to have to enlighten me, because I really don't know much about that. and I suspect my viewers may know more than me. Enlighten me.
Well, to get your law license to practice law,
right,
you have to take what's known in every state as a bar exam.
Right.
And to practice patent law, you have to take a separate bar exam.
So like if you do an invention type thing?
Yes, which you work on documenting and researching inventions and patenting various ideas.
So you went from physics teacher, now I'm going to be in charge of helping people.
That was the plan.
So where did that idea come from?
Well, it's funny. I sat down here at your table, and I noticed that you have a notepad from St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which is where I worked my first summer of law school in their legal department with patenting and trademarking.
Okay.
And I found that was horribly boring. And
what have I done?
That was the thought. I just poured in a lot of money to first year law school, and I realized that maybe this isn't what I wanted to do. So I got involved with the moot court program, and I was chair of the mock trial team at the law school. I got very heavily involved with the public defender's office in Memphis, where they have over 100 attorneys there at this point. They're one of the oldest public defender's offices in the country.
Okay.
I clerked there my final 2 years of law school, and graduated from law school, and was sworn in the bar in Tennessee. Excuse me. And got a job with a criminal defense law firm. Who, the head of that law firm was William Massey, great man. I just got back from visiting them in Memphis, had a good time, and he hired me, and they made me partner after 2 years. It was going very well. We focused exclusively on criminal defense, but there was a big part of me that realized that maybe that wasn't for me long term. It was difficult coming home some days and realizing that I'm using my skills and my abilities to help people that have done some pretty bad things. And I realized shortly after that I don't know that I want to do this for my whole career.
Okay.
It was a good experience working with them, but I think I realized that at the end of the day that wasn't the direction I wanted to go.
All right, so you were in patent law, then you moved to criminal defense, defending the bad guys.
Yeah.
But you're defending good guys too, right?
Sure.
So,
I had a couple clients that I thought were innocent.
Okay.
I actually had a jury trial for one gentleman that was accused of an aggravated assault, which is a pretty serious felony in Tennessee. That was actually the last felony jury trial I tried before we moved home. That was in January of 2011. And I got a not guilty verdict for this man. He was 6'5", 55 years old. He was a bouncer at a biker bar, and he was just trying to get somebody to not drive away. And he took a swipe at him, and my client defended himself, and the jury believed the witnesses on my side, and they found my client not guilty. And I've never had a 6'5" man hug me outside of a courtroom since then, but that gentleman was a good man. I feel proud of the job I did for him.
all right.
But many of the cases that we handled was we were mitigating. We were trying to reduce the time that they're in prison for doing awful things. So when my wife and I made the choice to move home, I knew that that's not what I wanted to do here. And the job I got when I was sworn into the New York State Bar was with the Erie County District Attorney's Office.
So how do you get sworn into the New York State Bar after you've been in Tennessee?
Well, we wanted to move home sooner rather than later because of a health condition of my father-in-law.
Right.
So I didn't have the requisite amount of time to petition into the New York State Bar, which is a common thing. If you have X number of years in, you can be sworn in by just paying a fee and making sure your professional responsibility exam's up to date. So I had to take the bar exam in New York State.
So there was no reciprocity?
Not at that point.
Okay.
There is, but after you've been practicing
so many
a certain
years.
number of years. So I was studying for the bar exam in December of 2010. I was studying for the bar exam. My wife was pregnant with our first child.
No stress.
And I was working full time. It was a very trying time.
Oh.
And my daughter was born, who's 5, on February 9th of that year. And my bar exam was February 23rd here in New York. So I was an absentee father for the first couple of years. And I'm sorry to my wife because I know I was awful. But I was an absentee father for the first couple of weeks as I did the final preparation for that exam, which was, as everybody knows, that if they know about bar exams, is a bear.
So All right, so now you're out of Tennessee, you're not a physics teacher, you're not a patent lawyer, you're not a defense lawyer. Now you are in New York State as what's the difference between attorney and lawyer?
Nothing.
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 So when you look up, you want somebody to...
You'll see labels of Esquire. Technically, I believe that's your practicing law. You have a law degree. You have a degree. It's your Juris Doctorate. An attorney and a lawyer are very similar terms.
Okay. All right, so let's keep the story going. So now you're a father, you've just passed the New York State bar exam, and you are somewhere in New York State. Where were you at that time?
We were actually living with my in-laws, helping out with my father-in-law, and they were helping out with our new child.
Right.
It was kind of a mutually beneficial situation. I got a job I interviewed both here in Chautauqua County and in Erie County. So I interviewed with David Foley, and I interviewed with Frank Sedita. And I was hired up there. David didn't have a position at that time. The turnover in the office isn't that great in full-time positions.
Yeah, it's a little smaller down there.
Yeah, there's much smaller. So I got hired. I worked up there for a little over a year, and my mom is probably going to expect me to tell her that I have her to thank for my job, because she was on the grand jury here in Chautauqua County, and my wife and I were days away from making an offer on a house in Angola, a couple blocks from their middle school and high school. And my mom, from the way David tells the story, David asserts that he was walking out of grand jury, and my mom chased him down from behind and pulled on his suit coat.
I can't imagine your mother doing that.
and told him, "My son's a really good boy. You need to hire him." And it just so turned out that David had just had an opening. David called me. I said, I can start. I need to give 2 weeks' notice. I'd been looking to move down here, and from then on, I've been a full-time attorney with the Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office. It's been great.
All right. So you were an assistant district attorney in
Erie County.
Erie County. Now so when you're an assistant district attorney, what do you do?
Well, up there, I was assigned to the city courts in Buffalo, which are very busy. You handle a caseload that ranges about as wide of a gamut as you can imagine in criminal law, and the volume you get is very high. You handle things, all misdemeanors and felonies, to their preliminary hearings. They're then passed off amongst the office, and they're distributed that way. But that was a very, even though I had very good quality defense experience, moving into New York State, the system here in New York State is vastly different than in Tennessee. So when I moved up here, it was very good to get that experience in that office, learning the procedures that are different in the state here as compared to Tennessee. And that experience there, even though I wish I was handling felony cases the year I was there, it was very valuable to see how the New York State system cases progress differently than in Tennessee.
Now, as I recall, assistant district attorneys are like assigned to townships, and they handle speeding tickets, or somebody has a dispute about where to put a fence or something. I mean, I'm not trying to demean the position,
Okay.
but I mean that's how I think of the assistant district attorneys. They're working for the district attorney, and you're out there in the field. Am I close to being right? I mean, do the assistant district attorneys? I mean, they're not doing the big cases, right? Or
well, it depends on the office. The office up in Erie County has roughly 90 attorneys. So
90?
They have a city court that they have to staff. There's a number of divisions there. And then they have their justice courts, which I believe they're in the 20s somewhere of justice courts that are the outlying towns. And then they have their felony bureaus, and they have a structure there that's conducive to an office that's very large.
I guess
has a very large budget, and they carry roughly a staff of 90. You contrast that with us. We carry a staff of 10. And only 7 of them are full-time. So, we have to, in Chautauqua County, we have a jurisdictional base of 33 jurisdictions, and we have 10 attorneys to cover that.
Wait a minute. This is getting a little mind-boggling. Let's just roll back the tape a little bit. Let's go back to district. What does district mean in all this? I mean, what is the district?
It's Chautauqua County.
So just Chautauqua County.
Yeah.
And when you were the assistant district attorney in Erie County, just all of Erie County?
All of Erie County.
But not the city of Buffalo?
No, the city of Buffalo is inside of Erie County. That's included within the jurisdiction.
And so, all right, so they got 90 up there. So down here, you are responsible for every court
in Chautauqua County.
So, like for instance, I don't know, maybe you'd show up, one of your assistant district attorneys would show up in Mayville Court to handle some
Town of
situation?
Chautauqua matters, yeah.
Now, okay, so I was thinking about this before the show. So the district attorney and the assistant district attorneys, you represent whom?
The people of the state of New York.
You're representing us
Yes.
when somebody breaks the law, basically?
Yes, exactly.
I'm not trying to be
Not
elementary
basically.
about this.
That's exactly right, Doc.
All right, because I'm not trying to be like simple-minded, but you know, I grew up watching Perry Mason, and you know, this guy is objecting about this, and I could never keep track who's the prosecutor, who's the defender, who's the good guy, because you never know who the good guy was, because sometimes the victim ended up being the bad guy. But anyways, all right. So as district attorney, the assistant district attorneys, you try cases on behalf of the district and the state of New York.
Yes.
So you're protecting us from the bad guys, so to speak.
And right now I'm the acting district attorney. David Foley was elected to county court judge, and
yeah, how's that work? I mean, like, how do you just say, "Oh, I think would you like to be DA"?
No, there is a county court filing. There's a county court law 702, and that law accounts for in the event for when the district attorney's absent.
Okay.
And when the district attorney's absent, there's a list of people in the office that are assistant district attorneys,
okay,
and they're ordered from 1 to however many. In our office, it'd be 1 to 10, and you just work down that list.
Okay.
So on January 1st, David Foley was absent because he was sworn in as county court judge, resigned his position as district attorney, and now you proceed down that list. And I was number 1 on that list as of December 18th of 2015, and I'm now the acting district attorney until the seat is filled by election, which is in November.
Okay, so this. I was thinking, like, for instance, if there's a vacancy, the seated governor would make appointments, but he has nothing to do with this.
He does. He feasibly could. What I've been told and what I understand is we have a variety of counties in this state right now that have positions that are being filled by acting. In fact, all 3 counties of Western New York have acting district attorneys right now: Niagara County, Erie County, and Chautauqua, which is rare.
Yeah.
But the governor could appoint district attorneys for those counties to fill the year. It would only go until the end of the year, much like what I'm doing now as the acting. He's chosen not to do that, for one reason or another, I'm not sure, but he could if he really wanted to. So right now, as it stands, you follow that order, the 702 filing that's with the county court clerk, and you run the office that way.
Okay, so this is kind of straightforward, it sounds like. So if you belong to the Purple Party, and the outgoing district attorney is from the Yellow Party, it doesn't matter what party you are, because like I know some is party appointed.
Well, not necessarily. The county court.
Not in your case, but other situations I'm talking about.
Well, some offices are political. It tends to be the larger ones.
Okay.
Our county is not that way. David Foley didn't hire people that way. He's a Republican, I'm a Democrat. He hired me without even
asking.
So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our office is an office that isn't political.
Okay.
We have a function.
You really can't be.
No, there's no room for it.
Shine equally on everybody.
Yeah, we have a function. It's to uphold the laws of the state and prosecute the people that break those laws, and politics really plays no role.
Okay, let's hold that thought. We have a caller. Okay. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. This is Linda Spalding. Good morning, Mr. Swanson. Patrick, it's good to see you on the show. And Doc, it's good to see you.
Good morning. My dad has a bone with you.
I'm sorry.
My dad was on the show last week, and he fully expected for you to call in, and you let him down. He says, "Where's Linda?" It's like he knows you personally.
Well, I'm so sorry. Give him my apologies.
You just did. He watches the show. So.
I am so sorry. You know what? I was sick. I had bronchitis or something.
Jeff has bronchitis. It's going around. Must be a Mayville thing.
Yeah, and I couldn't even talk. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. Please give him my apologies.
I will.
In the highest form.
I will. So what's up, Lynn?
Well, I just wanted to call in and see how things are going and announce that there are services with the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging, and especially the ones that I handle with the computer training that we have in Brockton and Westfield. And then we have one of our peer coaches, Darla. She was on your show.
Right.
She goes around to different sites and works with people, too.
Great.
She doesn't work just at Patterson. Also, we have jobs, and we're screening for businesses and employers, and lots of things are happening.
Wow, I guess. And you're going to have your annual picnic coming up here probably next month, won't you?
Yeah, I think I forget the date. I think it's at the end of July.
Okay. Well, you got to keep us posted on that one.
Oh, I will keep you posted.
Okay.
In fact, that will be my homework. I'll find out for sure what the date is.
All right. What about didn't you usually have an annual flower sale or something?
We had it.
You did? It's done?
Yes, it's finished.
You didn't even tell me about it. I could have announced it.
Oh, well.
You're slipping.
I know I'm slipping.
Okay.
We had it about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
We had it with the bake sale.
And a bake sale.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gosh. All right.
But we're always doing different things, fundraisers and that.
All right.
And it was quite successful. Those plant sales and lunches that we have, etc., they're for the Mac McCoy Fund.
Oh, yeah.
And this particular one goes to defray the cost of the senior picnic so that it's not so expensive for seniors.
Sure. That's great. All right, Lynn. Well, if anybody has any questions, they can call you on your number. And since we're on the radio Tuesday at 1 o'clock, why don't you give that number one more time?
Okay, it is 753-4471.
Okay. And you guys answer all kinds of questions and refer people to all kinds of places they need services, especially for our seniors, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you again soon, okay? I'm glad your voice is back.
Okay.
All right.
It's almost there.
You sound great. All right.
Okay, thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
You too.
Right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, back to our guest, Acting District Attorney Patrick Swanson, and we've been talking about the office and what it does. And folks, if you want to give us a call, 753-5225, or Twitter us or email us, we'll be happy to take on your questions or concerns. And I'm sure Mr. Swanson will be happy to hear from you as well.
Sure.
Just keep it nice. That's all I ask. So, your job is to uphold the laws of New York State and protect the people. So I wrote down here the day in the life of the district attorney. All right. And we could take off the acting part because we know you're doing the job. So let's just take a case. Let's make something up. A bad guy holds somebody up. Let's do a hold up, all right, and steals their money. And it's a lot of money, thousands of dollars.
Okay.
So let's take it from step one all the way through everything. How's it all work? And what I mean is let's tie the whole penal system, the judicial, all that together. So how's it work?
Well, I can use a case that we had about a year and a half ago in Dunkirk. We had a bank robbery.
Okay.
And if you know the Dunkirk-Fredonia area, there's the town line, the city of Dunkirk and the village of Fredonia butt up to each other right
Absolutely.
there, Vineyard Drive. And that's where the bank was, and this gentleman came in, made some demands.
I did not tell you this story before the show, right? This
No.
is fresh. All right. You didn't pay me to say this. All right, go ahead.
No, and you know, I'm using this case because it exemplifies when two departments work together. Fredonia and Dunkirk responded to the call. They searched the area immediately adjacent to the bank. They located this particular gentleman. The case progresses through at that point. You start with an arrest. He was arrested, felony complaints filed, which alleges that a crime has been committed.
Okay, people may not know the difference between felony and misdemeanor?
Well, we have three levels of penal law crimes in this state.
Okay.
We have felony offenses, we have misdemeanor offenses, then we have what are called violation offenses, which technically are not crimes.
Okay.
Like a disorderly conduct.
So what's a felony in this case?
Felony, the reason it's classified as a felony is because it carries more than 1 year of potential punishment in prison.
It's a significant crime.
Yes, it is. It's treated more seriously. We have prosecutors in our office that are the more experienced prosecutors that we assign to the felony caseload. We look at those differently than we do at misdemeanors for a lot of reasons. So the felony complaint's filed. He's arrested. He's brought in front of a judge and arraigned. He's given the opportunity to hire a lawyer, or he's assigned one if he's eligible. And and then a preliminary hearing is scheduled. The preliminary hearing is, the purpose of that hearing is to decide whether or not there's enough evidence to hold that person in jail through bail, pre-trial. Now, if they bail out, some defendants can make bail, and that's their right to get out of jail pre-trial if they can afford the bail. And we wouldn't have a preliminary hearing in that situation because we're not asking the county to hold them. Or we can make some arrangement where they waive their preliminary hearing and then move forward. And then between the local courts, those hearings or those proceedings, and the county court, you have what's called the grand jury. And if the case can't be resolved and worked out pre-indictment, we present the matter to a grand jury of 23 Chautauqua County residents.
Why 23?
That's the number the law prescribes.
Okay, so this is all set in...
This is all by
concrete.
law.
Right.
And we convene the grand jury on Wednesdays in our county, and these people come in, they give up their time, they volunteer, and they hear our cases, and they decide whether or not there's enough to indict this person on a felony offense, and you can indict on misdemeanors as well.
Hold there.
Okay.
I have a question. Okay. A lot of times I will hear something like this, and maybe this is in different states because you watch TV and you hear stuff like this,
okay,
and they'll say, "Well, we're going to ask the DA if they want to, prosecute this case, or if there's any merit to this case, and the district attorney will let us know if we're going to go forward. Otherwise, we're going to cut this person loose." I mean, is that true, or is that just Hollywood?
Well, it depends on if there's been an arrest. That sounds more of a situation where they haven't made an arrest yet.
Oh, all right.
And we frequently get cases brought to us by various investigatory agencies around our county, where they ask us to review the case matter and decide whether or not there's enough for a criminal charge. And if there is, what we would do in that situation typically is we would take that matter to the grand jury, ask them for their consideration, and then they consider those facts in the evidence and decide.
So, okay, here's my confusion then. Why would someone ask you guys if they should pursue it? Isn't there enough just on the evidence? Or is it kind of like when it's iffy?
It's an evidentiary issue. We're the people trained in the law. We have the law degree, and it sounds kind of uppity, but we're lawyers, and
I hope so.
and we're the ones that review what's there, and there are times when we say no. And what I've learned over the course of the nearly 6 months I've been doing this at this point is as the acting district attorney, as the district attorney, you're charged with making the very most difficult decisions with regards to charging, because in my position, you're handling the most serious of cases that happen in this county. You're dealing with the most violent offenses, the worst kind of defendant, and you have victims on the other side. And when you're making those determinations as a district attorney, there are a variety of factors that you have to consider, because as the DA, you have a large amount of power. You have the ability to affect not only the defendants and the victims' lives, but all of the people in their lives as well.
Sure.
And when you're making those choices as a district attorney, there are a lot of things that you have to consider. One of them is your ethical obligation. Is there sufficient evidence to charge this person and put them through the criminal process? And if you remember just recently, we had a shooting in Fredonia, and a homeowner was awakened at 2 in the morning. He was confronted by 2 people who pushed their way into his house, and he responded, ultimately firing his weapon at some point. And I had to review that case to decide whether or not this was a justified shooting. And one of the considerations was, what's the proof? What is my ethical responsibility? Was this man following the law? And that was a very difficult choice. And it wasn't one that we took lightly. I'm lucky to have an incredible staff. David Foley did a phenomenal job hiring people. I'm his surrogate right now. I'm acting for him. And the people I have in my office, every single one of them was hired by him. And he hired great people. Even the woman that I hired to replace myself had actually worked 6 years for David, so she was a no-brainer hire. It was an easy choice. But I took over an office that has good people that I can consult with. John Zarowski is my first assistant. He has been a prosecutor for 27 years.
Wow.
I feel very fortunate to have him. And I have a great young staff as well. It is difficult to retain your staff in a prosecutor's office because at some point they gain the experience they need.
And they break off and
to break off and make more money. It's
okay. So how do I've never been a lawyer, but I know there were times I would go home after being a superintendent and things weighed heavily, whether it was to grant tenure or how I was going to handle a student matter. I mean, this has got to kind of keep you up at night a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've lost 16 pounds. It's a job that doesn't stop. I receive frequent calls overnight to be consulted with police officers that are handling a matter that's serious. We had two snowmobilers back in the winter that collided in the middle of the night, and I was called then. It's frequent. Just a funny story. We had, not a funny story, but just a test. On January 4th, we had a body that was found, and which ended up being a suicide, and that was my that was the first Monday I was in this position.
Welcome to the job. The honeymoon's over.
There were some suspicious circumstances surrounding the location and what was discovered, and we had the forensic investigation team out there. We had it was a full-fledged investigation as if it were a homicide, and that was I was thrown into the fire the first day. But you realize very quickly the amount of responsibility that you carry doing this job, and how serious it is, and it's something that I place a good bit of respect into. The obligation is very great, and I think I had David Foley, who set a very high standard,
right,
and it provided me, working with him over 4 years, a very good model as to how to conduct yourself and do this job, and I was very lucky to inherit his office and the people and the structure that he has in that office. I mean, he was a prosecutor for 20 years. He did a very good job of doing what he did.
Let's go back to the bank robber. So we got him to the grand jury, I think, where we left the story. And so the grand jury says, yeah, bad guy, hang him, take him to the next level. What happens?
The grand jury doesn't decide.
They don't decide him?
Not
Off with his head? Nothing?
Not guilt or innocence. They just decide if there's a requisite level of proof to charge him.
Okay.
It's the buffer. It's the way our system was set up to protect people from prosecutions by the government.
So they're actually, I know this is going to sound weird, but I suppose that the grand jury is protecting the individual from you.
Yes, that is the idea. That is the way the system was set up.
So they see it the way you do.
Then they sign off on it. We hand up the indictment to the county court.
Does it ever torque you off if they disagree with you?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, it's
like, what were they thinking?
The system is what the system is.
Okay.
Our goal as prosecutors is not to convict people. Our goal is to seek justice. And sometimes justice comes in the form of not charging someone.
Okay.
And it goes hand in hand with the responsibility we carry. If we're upset with the result, we're expressing disdain for the system, which is not what we do.
Right.
What we do is seek the truth. We seek justice.
All right, so the robber, was he indicted?
Yes, he was.
All right, so then what happens?
He ultimately pled guilty, but there's a variety of ways that can track. He's indicted, or he's arraigned in front of the county court. Bail is either continued from what it was set at when he was arraigned in the local court, or it's changed. You go through the pre-trial processes where you exchange discovery, which essentially is us giving all of the evidence over.
This takes a while.
It does take a while.
Yeah.
And we have a caseload here in this county of, over the last 6 years, we've had about 7,000 cases. Our crime rate's pretty steady.
With 10 people?
Yes.
Jeez,
it's difficult at times.
It's daunting. All right. So this individual could have been sitting in jail or could have been out on bail?
Yes, one or the other, depending on whether he makes bail. And there's a variety of factors. There's a bail statute that judges review.
Okay.
We make arguments, defense counsel makes argument, and bail is set that the judge and the court feel is fair. And then there's evidence exchanged. Pretrial motions are filed. If there's any hearings that need to be held, they're held. And you move forward in that way. Obviously, there's still negotiations going on. A lot of our cases get negotiated and resolved through a plea of some sort of agreement between us and defense counsel. And that's primarily because with 7,000 cases and roughly 1,000 felonies a year, there's a necessity to resolve some cases that can be resolved. Certainly it isn't the goal to plea bargain everything, but there is a necessity to plea bargain things that are less serious.
Okay, so and I don't know what, you said he pleaded guilty. I'm assuming that you negotiated it down. So,
yeah, well, he pled to a robbery.
All right, so let's just say he didn't, and he was going to be real bullheaded about it. He said, I'm innocent, I want my day in court. So you got his lawyer, and then you got your side. If I go into that courtroom, am I going to see you up there prosecuting?
Well, typically we have calendar call on Mondays. If you were to come on a day where a trial is being held, all of our felony attorneys are capable of trying cases.
So you're not the guy that says...
It depends on the case. I handle the homicides and the most serious cases here. We have one pending homicide right now. It's out of the city of Jamestown. It was the double homicide that occurred back at the beginning of December. That's something I'm working on. I also have a couple other cases that I've maintained from when I was a felony prosecutor last year that I will continue to handle. But there's administrative stuff and other obligations that I have that limits the number of cases I take. Plus, you know, the felony caseload of a normal prosecutor is pretty big. But you look at a homicide; those require a certain level of care, which takes up a lot of my time.
So you must work really closely with the sheriff's office.
The sheriff's office, the state police, the Jamestown police, Fredonia, Duncan. We have a variety of police agencies.
Okay, while we were chatting here, I got a question that popped up. It says, how closely does the district attorney's office work with the child advocacy program?
Oh, well, that program came into being in David Foley's 10 years as the DA. I've taken it upon myself to continue that because it's important. You know, that's a center where we can. Where it's a location where our victims of crimes can go not only to assist in our investigation, but to begin that healing process. With the damage that's done in child sex abuse cases, it's a good place for them to be able to go because they provide services that we can't provide as the DA's office that those people need. We work closely with them. We have 2 prosecutors currently assigned to them, not full time, but to manage their caseload.
Sure.
And those cases are, you know, they hold a particular place of importance in our office because of the nature of the victim and them being a child and typically a helpless child.
Pat Swanson, acting district attorney. We've got 1 minute and 42 seconds left. Any surprises in the office? Anything that surprised you is when you, other than the morning of your first day getting the
yeah, call. that was interesting. Actually, I just sat down in Westfield to have lunch at the diner with my brother, and I got that phone call. So he was like, "You have to go," and I'm like, yes, I really have to go. No, you know, in leading up to the transition when David was going to be sworn in January 1st, I had some time to spend with him and pick his brain. You know, I don't think you can adequately prepare yourself for what the job is until you actually sit down and you do that job. It's certainly different than anything I've ever done. I can tell you that I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a great thing. I feel like I have a job that at the end of the day I can go home and I can feel really good about. And you know, I have family members that are very close to me that live here. It's very important that I do this job well. And
because you're going to hear about it over Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know, the last thing I need is my brother's golf course getting broken into or something. Yes. They'd be the most difficult people to work with. Well, I love my brothers.
Yeah, I know. The media newspaper recently gave you a kudo, attaboy, said you made a good decision. So you don't see that too often. So
no, I was told that by a number of people. I will take that.
Take it, because the next week and the other way.
And that's the way it is. You know, I'm in a position where I'll be scrutinized, and that's part of the job, and I'm fine with that.
10 seconds. What do you want to tell people before we go?
You know, if you know of anybody that's, you know, domestic violence is a problem in our county. If you know of anybody that's struggling, reach out to them. Try and help them out, get them the help they need. But we would like to see a decrease in domestic violence in this county, and it starts with friends helping friends. Excellent. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. My guest today has been this acting district attorney. I changed your title, Patrick Swanson, and thanks so much for coming on the show today. And thank you, Doc.
You take care and take care of the bad guys and protect the rest of us. We'll see you all again next Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning, once again here on Chautauqua Sunrise. Have a great weekend. Stay dry, stay warm, and as you said, take care of each other. We'll see you then. Thank you, sir.